He looked very into his job. Like, you need the studio. I got the studio for you. You got a light sorted. You have to leave your right. You want a cap? Yeah, I'm alright. I'll have a cap. Can I have a mug? No, I got no mugs.
West side.
Woo! Woo! We've upgraded to a green screen.
Look at this. We can put anything we want here.
Anything.
But this is comments below, where you leave your comments below. This is
David Vujanic.
And obviously, we're going to leave our comments below. No, you lot are going to leave your comments below. We're going to talk about them. Like, that comment's really nice. That one's funny. That one's great. And then, right at the end of the show, there's that epic moment only described as Comment of the Week. Also, a guy is here. He's from Liverpool. He supports Liverpool. He's part of the Red Men.
TV.
Paul, give us a shout.
Hello, lads.
Hey!
He's
Paul
got
gave
a
us a
real
shout.
Scouser accent.
Real, not like Alan Hansen.
Not like me.
Not like Jamie Redknapp.
Anyway, moving on. First comment. It's from Elsa987.
And he has said,
with Balotelli going to AC Milan, what was your favourite Balotelli moment when he was at Man City, e.g. the fireworks in his bathroom? My personal Balotelli favourite moment was when this picture came out of him with his camo onesie next to his camo Bentley, next to his camo, what was it, like his like motocross thing. Or the story about him when he went through the city and he gave like homeless people money. And then the other time when he apparently booked out a whole floor in a hotel for homeless people.
yeah.
Are these stories real?
I believe they are, and I think we just like scrutinise him too much and focus on
Are
all
they
the
real,
negative
Paul?
things.
Do you think
know?
they're real?
Do you reckon they're...
It's all bullshit, isn't it?
Oh,
Paul's like Zordon from Power Rangers. Like, you don't even see him, but his voice is just there, innit? I remember Balotelli trying to put on one of them bib things.
with Dzeko.
And that was fucking hilarious, and he couldn't do it.
You know what,
Same.
Balotelli, we're going to miss you, man.
100%.
And, you know, I guess Italy's going to have all the entertainment now. I mean, we've lost Joey Barton to France. We've lost Balotelli to Italy. Juve's been relegated. Who do we have left as like a personality?
character?
That's crazy, and he does stuff that's a bit more out there.
Peter, Olive Wengwilly.
Oh, the Wingy!
Oh, mate, you're a real character. Did you really trying to get that move, innit? You just thought, let me just drive down there and just, you know, try and get my own move to QPR without even contacting absolutely anyone. I don't think he's going to play for West Brom again this season. Probably not.
Do you think, like, in a relationship, he's very needy? Do you think maybe on Facebook he stalks his exes? Do you make a fake profile, add your girlfriend, and then just see what she's doing?
Oh, how you doing, girl?
Yeah, like put up a fake picture, you know, like some guy cut and, hey, do you want to go out for a drink? And she says yes, and then you quit. Yeah, I got you. And she's just like, you're a lunatic.
It's really upsetting.
Frightening level of detail on that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know, we went so deep into it.
So what I do. I don't do that.
Let's go to Julio Mantra.
Again.
He's always here, innit? What do you think about Michael Owen's brutal Brutal.
It was absolutely brutal.
Attack on Arteta.
Horrific.
Have you ever seen a worse punch than that? Yeah. I tried to have a fight with someone. After I woke up in the hospital, I promised myself that I would never do such a violent thing. Yeah, I got battered, absolutely battered. I thought, you know, I was getting beaten, so I just curled up into a ball on the floor.
Oh, the fetal position.
Yeah.
It's very good if you want to protect yourself.
Yeah, and do you know what I love about like when you get beat up?
And your vital organs are covered.
Exactly. But enough about my awful life in Tottenham and Hackney.
I don't know what Michael Owen was doing. Maybe it's because his career is ending. It's like a midlife crisis for a footballer. It was really like, he missed and it was just...
Then he got bullied by Jack Wilshere. That's when you know, when the younger generation of the English culture coming through, who probably watched you as a youngster score magnificent goals against Argentina, don't give a shit about you, you really need to contemplate your future.
I think it's after that moustache, everything just started going downhill, mate. So now, we're going to bring in Paul from the Red Men TV. And I don't really want to go get that chair.
Cool.
And I'm sick of us bickering about stuff, so can we just do rock, paper, scissors?
No problem.
Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Fucking hell.
Well done, son. All right, everyone. Can we please welcome our guest with a round of applause and love for the one they call Paul.
Liverpool, 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 oh, Liverpool, Liverpool.
Wow, it's not often people chant your city at you when you walk into a room, is it? Like,
High five. I feel like you're better than me, being a Scouser, and I'm not a Scouser.
I'm a Scouser.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, good.
Anyway, we need to note this, is we've changed Paul's chair.
I was wondering why he was here, because he just like, plonked himself in the middle, pushed us out of the way, and now he's stolen my kin. Stop taking things off me. Why are you here?
You're changing roles.
To fulfill a stereotype, apparently. Like, no, I'm here to read it. To read a Liverpool comments. Yeah, I do a Liverpool channel on YouTube called Red Men TV.
What's the channel? Let them know so they can subscribe and like.
Yeah, youtube.com/the Redmen TV if you get a sec.
Plug's done.
What am I here for?
You have to plug.
Read the comment, mate.
Now you got to read the comment.
I reckon I can do that to stretch. Matty Metcalf says, David, what did you think of the Man City versus Liverpool game, and which goal do you think was better, Gerrard or Aguero? To give it its full.
Well, normally I'm very negative, but I think we dominated against Man City. I'm going to look at the positives. We played really well. Sturridge, revelation of the season for us maybe. You know, he's helping Suarez. Finally, we have someone that's popping up in the right places. Thank you, please, for making a goodbye once. On the other hand, on the negative, I totally lost it when Reina decided to go for a gap year. I don't know where he was going. He was visiting Cambodia. What are you doing, Pepe? You've totally lost it. But I really got angry at that moment. And I think Aguero's goal, to answer the question, was better. Just the technique to get with the inside of your foot to curl just to that post. And it was like, how much of the goal did he really have to aim at? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Too much.
Too much, yeah. Thanks, Pepe.
Well,
I don't know.
I wasn't angry. It was more just it was a literal facepalm moment. You know what I mean? Where
It's just very frustrating for me because I'm a very emotional person in general. But I'm trying to be more positive. What do you think about Daniel Sturridge?
He's a beast. Yeah, it was great. We were talking about him before, saying some people have said to us about how, well, look at the goals he's scoring. They're nothing special at the City goal notwithstanding, which is a strike. But we haven't had anyone in the centre forward position since Torres left. We've had no one. It's doing the basics of what a centre forward does. To have Sturridge come in, his ability on the ball, dribbling, the fact that he can play in behind. But you look at £12 million. People were saying that was too much money at the time. And whereas it looks.
No, I was actually quite happy with the signing. Generally, I'm straight away like, oh Jesus. I love someone that knows a lot about Liverpool, and it seems like you really do know a lot about Liverpool, and it's quite cool. I mean, it's your life, so.
Thanks. Yeah. It's not far from the truth. Have you seen those pictures of Arshavin?
No, I haven't. What the hell are you doing?
I hope we can afford to put the photos of Arshavin up here somewhere.
We can't afford the photo. Oh, Lawrence just told me they have monies. They bought the picture. Woo! Arshavin.
What is he doing, Arshavin?
I don't want to talk about it. It's quite upsetting. Thank you, Paul, for coming in and embarrassing me being an Arsenal fan and talking about Arshavin. But also, please, plug.
Do come and watch more of me and more of these lads as well. We'll be talking to them on our show on youtube.com/the Redmen TV.
Woo! I'm really excited. And it's the quickfire round because we've had loads of comments again, so keep leaving. 60 seconds. I've got my stopwatch. I'm going to read them out and then you're going to answer, I'm going to answer. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. If you couldn't support Arsenal or Liverpool, who would you support?
My family.
Stoke. Do you reckon that Aston Villa will get relegated?
Probably.
Yes. You two are sidemen. Never read my comments.
You've done it now.
Oi, Vujanic, why does it look like you come every time you sing comment of the week? Maybe I do. If you would be a player for one day, who would you be and why?
Balotelli because he's funny and he has hair.
Joey Barton, why are your arms so small?
Whose?
My mum doesn't feed me.
Oh,
feed
skinny.
us. Leave some comments and some food next time. I think you should read this thing, turn and kiss.
Wow, that's great what you think. I don't.
That's wrong. Who do you guys think is the best signing of this transfer period?
Sissoko.
Sturridge. Did you get beat up in the pub after the match for Yannick?
No, he stayed alive.
No, it was quite peaceful.
PGs.
Who is better at football, Poet or David?
Well, I think that goes without saying.
I think me. Nice quiff. Does it come in men's? Leave my quiff alone. It's quite nice. You always say leave comments, but when I do, you just ignore them, you donkey fucking twats.
Your name's D.
You're a nice bun.
A nice bun,
Okay,
yeah,
oh, anyway, I'm a Reading fan, and what do you think of our chances of staying up?
Well, I've read that.
They're
That's
quite
enough.
good. They're coming up. They're doing well. Coming back. Is Poet a hipster?
No.
Yeah, you are. Poet looks like an egg.
Wait, I'm an egg.
Yeah.
That's round and big. I'm quite skinny and slim.
I've kind of calmed down now. I've used all my energy, but I think it's comment of the week.
And this week's comment is remotely offensive.
This is from Spencer CBA6. Would love to know how long Poet spends practicing Russell Brand's presenting style in the mirror. Not hating, just commentating.
All right. First of all, you're not commentating. It's not a football game or anything like that. Secondly, I'm very poor. I don't have mirrors in my house. But I do practice it quite a bit, and I think it's all right. What do you reckon?
I quite like it.
Oh,
I keep saying, like, me and you are like Ant and Dec.
Yeah.
but
just Serbian and Jamaican.
Serbian and Jamaican, a bit more in fashion.
Yeah, like we wear cool trainers.
More with the times.
But Spence, thank you so much for being rude.
It's a compliment.
It is.
Russell
Brand's amazing. Like, I really admire his style, admire him as a person. We're going to wave and say goodbye. And if you feel free to wave as well. Say hello. Say goodbye.